Many WNBA fans are calling out the referee problem.
The referees literally turned their back.
Caitlin Clark appears to be hunted every game. She deals with physicality that no other player in the league is dealing with. The WNBA not stepping in to protect their cash cow, their only draw, their only star, and this is the end result.
Many WNBA fans have become increasingly critical of the league's officiating, especially when it comes to Caitlin Clark. From the moment she entered the league, she was promoted as a transformational star capable of elevating women's basketball to new heights.
Caitlin Clark will be sidelined for at least 2 weeks
with a quad injury.
Willis has emerged. How Caitlin Clark got hurt.
Fouls her for the 4th time. It's cheating.
Caitlin Clark is the driving force behind the interest in the Fever and the interest in the WNBA.
Rookie Caitlin Clark was subject to several intentional.
Yet instead of receiving the protection often afforded to marquee players, she has repeatedly found herself at the center of intense physical play, leading many observers to question whether the league is doing enough to support the player who has become its biggest attraction. This situation goes far beyond the normal challenges most rookies face.
Game. WNBA players, fans, coaches are all complaining about the referees, and they have shown that they're not going to change anything because the referees continue to be horrible.
To many viewers, the pattern of contact and the lack of consistent officiating has appeared increasingly concerning and difficult to ignore. Throughout the season, Clark absorbed hard contact, repeated collisions, and numerous questionable non-calls while continuing to compete at a high level.
Lions head coach Stephanie White. She was complaining about her team not getting a whistle, not being respected.
As frustrations mounted, many fans began to feel that the officials were allowing too much physical play without adequate intervention, fueling a growing debate across the league. Then came the development no one wanted to see.
Be out for 2 weeks minimum following a quad strain.
Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham going to the officials and trying to, ask for an explanation of what had just occurred. That official completely stonewalled.
Line with a quad injury, prompting fans to revisit weeks of physical play, missed whistles, and moments where she appeared to be seeking explanations from officials without receiving them. What initially seemed like isolated incidents gradually evolved into a larger controversy, and new discussions began emerging about whether deeper issues existed within the league's officiating structure.
WNBA problem. And as more and more eyeballs are watching this league, it becomes growingly an issue. The officiating feels you never have a true grasp on what it's going to be.
At the center of it all stands Caitlin Clark, caught in a storm of attention, expectations, and controversy.
Listening to them. They're not listening to the coaches, they're not listening to the players, they're not listening to the fans, they're listening to their stakeholders. That's why I keep saying nothing is going to change till the mindset and whoever's running all of this, the stakeholders, governors, whoever these people are.
As criticism intensified in clips circulated online, pressure on the league continued to grow from fans, analysts, coaches, and players alike. As debates surrounding officiating intensified, some observers began speculating about the long-term consequences for the league if concerns over consistency and player protection remained unresolved.
Injury does anything. It should be a wake-up call to the WNBA, the Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear.
Was whether the league will take meaningful action to address concerns surrounding the treatment of its most visible star before the controversy grows even larger. Caitlin Clark built her reputation by breaking records at Iowa, attracting massive audiences, and helping bring unprecedented attention to women's basketball. When she entered the
Clark is being roughed up, but the physical wear and tear on Caitlin Clark, I'm not surprised that 2 weeks into the season, she's already got an injury.
WNBA, expectations were enormous, both for her individual performance and for the impact she could have on the league as a whole. For a time, that impact was undeniable. Attendance surged, television ratings climbed, and interest in the league expanded dramatically. Yet alongside that success came increasingly intense physical play directed toward Clark.
2024 was a year of unprecedented growth in viewership in the WNBA, a substantial amount of which can be attributed to Caitlin Clark, who took the basketball world by storm after an all-time college career.
Who had appeared in 185 consecutive games between her career at Iowa and her time with the Indiana Fever. 139 games with the Iowa Hawkeyes. She never missed.
From her first professional games, Clark faced relentless defensive pressure, constant physical contact, and demanding matchups.
Caitlin Clark, somebody who was responsible for 26.5 of all WNBA economic activity last season, including revenue from merchandise, ticket sales, and television.
Caitlin Clark out at least 2 weeks waited, but can the WNBA maintain without her? Can the WNBA pack arenas draw rating?
Many fans argued that similar contact against other elite players would often result in fouls, making the officiating a central part of the conversation. Despite growing criticism, a common response remained that Clark simply needed to adapt to the professional game.
Referees just exposed their hand so bad, bro. I mean, they just didn't care no more. They didn't care. The world was watching how bad the cause was. They didn't care at all. They was going to get their issue off against the Fever no matter what. And I'm here to tell you, that's exactly what went down, bro. They have an agenda against Caitlin Clark.
That explanation, however, raised questions among supporters who wondered why the burden of adjustment appeared to fall so heavily on her. The situation escalated further when Clark was diagnosed with a left quad strain after carrying a heavy workload and logging significant minutes throughout the season. The injury represented more than a temporary setback.
Said the reason that people are complaining is because they haven't watched the WNBA before, and these are just new fans who don't understand. But there's clearly an issue.
For Indiana and for the WNBA, it removed one of the sport's biggest attractions and intensified concerns about whether the season's physical toll had been properly managed. What made the injury particularly controversial was the perception that concerns about excessive contact had gone largely unaddressed. For many fans, seeing the league's most recognizable player sidelined only amplified existing frustrations.
It's the Caitlin Clark disrespect. And what I mean by that is you've got somebody who is obviously the most popular player in basketball. You got somebody that I would argue maybe a top 5 most popular athlete in the United States of America. All right. You got this athlete in a league that nobody's been watching, never turned a profit, and your system is broken against that team.
Teammates and analysts suggested that Clark may have been battling through discomfort for some time, leading many to question whether warning signs had been overlooked before the injury occurred. As attention shifted toward officiating, critics began examining the experience level of referees and the developmental pathways that brought them into the league, raising broader questions about preparation and consistency.
Kelsey Mitchell said even if there is a injury, hopefully it's just, like a little nagging thing. And again,
take care of your body and just make sure I think recovery is everything. I think if you're in tune to your body, you know what you need. This is Caitlin.
Discussion expanded beyond individual referees and toward the larger decision-making structure governing officiating standards, including how rules are interpreted and what style of play the league chooses to emphasize. Clark's arrival introduced unprecedented visibility and a faster, more dynamic style of basketball, creating tension between traditional expectations and the changing demands of a rapidly growing audience.
And they do not talk about it here. And that's why I also don't want us to personally attack some of these referees. I think they're doing their job. If they're hiring referees who basically didn't have any experience but high school refereeing jobs, and then they did a stint in the G League, like these referees actually aren't. I gained and reconfirmed with myself that not much is going to change.
Many supporters believe that contact drawing fouls and other levels of basketball is too often ignored when Clark is involved, contributing to a perception of inconsistency. Several controversial moments, including failed challenges and disputed calls, have reinforced concerns that procedural rules and officiating decisions can significantly influence outcomes while leaving players frustrated.
Committee for stakeholders, coaches, governors, and general managers, and that is saying what style of basketball they want to allow, and the referees are following that.
The issue extends beyond isolated mistakes and reflects broader structural problems involving accountability, transparency, and consistency across the league. As criticism has grown louder, the conversation has evolved from individual incidents to a league-wide debate about fairness, standards, and the treatment of star players.
Halfway through the season. This year, it took us 4 games for Stephanie White to say, I've had enough.
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games.
Heavily discussed examples involved a late game drive by Clark in which many viewers believed clear contact occurred without a foul being called, sparking widespread reaction online.
What's happening right here? That is a WNBA referee turning his back to Caitlin Clark and the Fever. Oh my God. I mean, he literally got his back turned, ignoring Caitlin. I mean, this is bad.
When players sought clarification after the play, the lack of communication only intensified frustrations and reinforced concerns about transparency. Questions surrounding challenge rules and timeout requirements further complicated the situation, leaving some fans feeling that procedural technicalities protected officiating decisions from review.
You know, I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing.
Complaints emerged from multiple teams. The controversy expanded beyond Indiana and became part of a broader discussion regarding officiating across the league. Many observers argue that the core issue is not physicality itself but inconsistency.
The only draw in your league, the only player capable of selling tickets, is potentially out for an extended period of time. What the hell are you gonna do?
Enforcement, particularly when high-profile players are involved. With Clark sidelined, the debate has only intensified, turning her injury into a symbol of larger concerns surrounding league culture and officiating standards.
Situation. And I understand the frustration that I think comes the most with officiating is the inconsistencies of officiating. But listen, this is not unique to the WNBA.
Clark has never asked for special treatment, but many supporters believe she deserves the same level of protection and consistency afforded to any elite athlete. Meanwhile, fans have become increasingly engaged in analyzing every aspect of the situation.
Right, when that foul took place, CBS said she's got a challenge left. Well, it didn't matter. She couldn't use it. Stephanie White could not challenge that foul call on Lexi Hull, the one that led to the game-winning free throws from Sabrina Ionescu, because she didn't have a timeout. You need a full timeout, not a reset timeout, to initiate the challenge. Now, my issue with that is it would have been nice if the CBS announcers hadn't even brought up
Clark's influence on attendance, ratings, and public interest has made the conversation impossible to ignore.
Clearly a problem. If it's not just one team, also, by the way, it's not just the Indiana Fever. I know it's been the biggest story this week. Brittany Griner left a sideline interview to go yell at.
Celebrating a period of unprecedented growth, the league now finds itself confronting difficult questions about officiating, accountability, and how it manages its most prominent stars. As media coverage expands and public scrutiny increases, issues that once remained largely internal are becoming major topics of discussion throughout the sports world.
I did notice in the Liberty game, Caitlin Clark's shots were all very short. So it was showing that she wasn't like getting off and she was having a difficult time making those threes, and a lot of explosiveness from those three-point shots does come from.
For years, officiating oversight attracted limited public attention, but Clark's popularity has placed those systems under a much brighter spotlight than ever before. Whether intentionally or not, a series of controversial calls and non-calls has transformed Clark into a central figure in a larger debate about fairness, consistency, and league governance.
Who had appeared in 185 consecutive games between her career at Iowa and her time with the Indiana Fever. 139 games with the Iowa Hawkeyes. She never missed one.
Obviously, Caitlin's carrying a lot on her shoulders. A big star that is coming to a lot of these buildings.
At its core, the discussion is about protecting the integrity of competition and ensuring that every player, regardless of status, is treated according to the same standards. Many believe that failure to address these concerns could damage the league's long-term credibility and create even greater controversy in the future. The debate surrounding Caitlin Clark, officiating, and player protection continues to grow.
The Fever were on the wrong end of some whistles, it seemed, in this game, and it's seemingly been that way for much of the season, and it's been a recurring theme where there's a level of physicality allowed against them, and they're not allowed to reciprocate on the other end. That particularly, of course, goes for Caitlin.
Media members and basketball observers remain focused on how the league responds, and the coming months may determine whether meaningful changes are made moving forward.